Hello and welcome back to Nature Talk, the podcast where we explore our amazing connection to the natural world. I'm your host, Steve.
And I'm Maria. It's great to be with you all again. Steve, have you ever just stopped on a walk in a forest or a park and felt this overwhelming sense of just feeling good?
All the time. It's that feeling of peace, right? Like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. The air seems fresher, the sounds are calming. It's a universal human experience.
Exactly. And it turns out there is a scientific reason for that feeling. It's not just in our heads. That's what we're exploring today, the science of biophilia, or in simple terms, why we love nature.
It's a fantastic topic. So, Maria, let's start with the basics. What exactly is this term biophilia?
Well, the term itself literally means love of life, but the biophilia hypothesis is the idea that humans possess an innate biological tendency to seek connections with nature and other forms of life.
Innate. So it's not just something we learn, it's actually hardwired into our DNA.
That's the theory. The renowned biologist E.O. Wilson, who popularized the idea, argued that our deep affiliation with nature is a result of our evolution. For most of human history, our survival depended entirely on our ability to understand and connect with the natural world.
Right. We had to know which plants were safe to eat, where to find clean water, how to interpret weather patterns, and how to track animals. Our senses were tuned to the subtleties of the environment.
And even though most of us now live in urban environments, that ancient biological programming is still there. We still crave that connection.
So it's more than just appreciating a pretty landscape. It's a fundamental need, like our need for social connection or food.
That's the argument. And when that need isn't met, it can negatively impact our well-being.
Okay, so that's the theory, but what does the modern science say? Is there actual measurable evidence to back this up?
Oh, absolutely. The body of research is growing every year, and it's fascinating. For starters, let's talk about stress.
Something we could all use less of.
Totally. Multiple studies have measured physiological stress markers. For instance, they find that people's cortisol levels, that's our main stress hormone, drop significantly after spending time in a forest compared to an urban setting.
Right, I've read about that. Their heart rate and blood pressure decrease as well.
Exactly. This is the foundation of the Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. It's not about hiking or exercise. It's simply about being calm and quiet amongst the trees, observing nature around you while breathing deeply. It's now a prescribed therapy in Japan.
A prescribed therapy. That's amazing. But it's not just about reducing stress, right? It affects our minds in other ways too.
Yes, and this is maybe the most interesting part for me. It's about our ability to focus. There's a concept called attention restoration theory.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
The theory states that our everyday lives, especially with work and screens, require something called directed attention. It's the kind of focus that takes effort, where you have to ignore distractions.
And it gets exhausted pretty quickly. I think we all know that feeling of mental fatigue by the end of the day.
Right, but nature engages a different kind of attention, what the theorists call soft fascination. Think about watching the gentle movement of leaves in the wind, or the flow of water in a stream. It holds your attention, but it's effortless.
Soft fascination. I love that term.
And because it's effortless, it allows your directed attention muscle to rest and recover. That's why after a walk in the park, you often feel mentally refreshed and more creative. Your brain has had a chance to recharge.
That makes perfect sense. It's the reason why staring at a screen feels draining, but staring at a campfire feels restorative.
Exactly. And once you understand this, you start to see expressions of biophilia everywhere in our culture, even when we don't realize it.
Like how? What are some examples?
Well, think about the simple things. Why do so many of us keep houseplants? Why do we have pets? Why is a home with a garden or a view of a park so much more desirable?
Of course, we're trying to bring nature into our homes, into our personal spaces.
We are, and this is now a huge field in architecture and urban planning called biophilic design. It's the idea of intentionally designing our buildings and cities to connect us with nature.
And that's more than just adding a few potted plants to the office lobby, I assume.
Much more. It's about maximizing natural light, using natural materials like wood and stone, having indoor water features, creating green roofs and living walls. It can even be about using patterns and textures that mimic those found in nature, like the shape of a honeycomb or a leaf.
And does it actually make a difference?
The research is pretty clear on this. For example, studies in hospitals have shown that patients in rooms with windows looking out onto natural scenes recover faster and require less pain medication than those looking at a brick wall.
Wow, that's a huge tangible benefit.
It is. And in the workplace, offices that incorporate biophilic design report higher levels of employee well-being, creativity, and productivity, and lower rates of absenteeism.
So, connecting with nature isn't just a luxury. It can actually make us healthier and better at our jobs.
It seems so. Our biology is crying out for it.
This is all incredibly convincing, but I can hear some listeners thinking, that's great, but I live in a high-rise apartment in the middle of a city. What can I do?
That's a really important question. The good news is that you don't need to move to a cabin in the woods to get the benefits. Even small, frequent doses of nature can have a positive impact.
Okay, give us some practical tips, the easy wins.
All right, easiest one first. Get a plant. Seriously, put one on your desk or on your kitchen windowsill. Studies show that simply having a plant to look at can lower stress and improve concentration.
I can definitely do that. What else?
Open your window to let in fresh air and natural light. If you can, position your desk so you can see out of it. Even looking at a high-quality photograph or a screensaver of a natural landscape has been shown to provide what researchers call a micro-restorative experience.
A micro-restorative experience. I like it. So even a picture of a forest can help a little?
It can. Another great tool is sound. Listen to recordings of natural soundscapes like rain, birdsong, or ocean waves, especially if you work in a noisy office.
And for people who can get outside even for a little bit?
Make it intentional. Instead of eating lunch at your desk, find the nearest patch of green, a small park, a public square with trees, and spend 15 minutes there. Pay attention to the details, the feel of the breeze, the sound of the birds, the look of the clouds.
And I'd add gardening to that list, even if it's just a few herbs in a window box. The act of tending to a living thing and putting your hands in the soil is incredibly grounding.
That's a perfect example. It connects you to the seasons and the cycle of life in a very direct way.
So, as we wrap up, it seems the big takeaway here is that our connection to nature is not just a pleasant hobby. It's a vital part of our human experience.
Absolutely. The science of biophilia proves what we've always intuitively known, that nature is not just something we visit, it's our home. Nurturing that connection is essential for our physical and mental health.
And the best part is that it's accessible to everyone in ways big and small.
That's all the time we have for today on Nature Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Join us next time when we'll be exploring the surprisingly diverse world of urban wildlife. You might be shocked to learn who your neighbors are.
Until then, try to get your dose of nature this week. We'll see you next time.